Romance of the Three Kingdoms Chapter 16. Lu Bu uses a feat of archery to reconcile enemies. Cao Cao loses at the Battle of the River. The plan is to divide and rule. They will send the grain that he has long requested to Lu Bu. However, not the gold, silk and horses he has demanded. These they will hold back so that Lu Bu will not come to the rescue of Xuanda when they attack. Let us give him the grain along with secret instructions, says Yang Dajiang, in order to win back his favor and prevent him going to the aid of Xuanda. After we have defeated Xuanda, we can easily take out Lu Bu. But Lu Bu is no fool. He sees through this ruse when the gifts and a secret letter arrive. Instead, he plans his own solution to the problem of the three rivals. Lu Bu brings his troops to the field where Yuan Shu's commander, Ji Ling, is camped facing Xuanda's troops. Secretly, he invites the two commanders, Xuanda and Ji Ling, to a banquet without telling either of them that the other is also invited. As each believes Lu Bu is on his side, they both come. Imagine Ji Ling's astonishment when he enters Lu Bu's tent and finds Xuanda seated there. "Do you plan to kill me?" asks Ji Ling, to which Lu Bu replies, "Certainly not." "So," says Ji Ling, "you plan to kill old Long Ears over there," pointing at Xuanda. "Certainly not," replies Lu Bu. Completely befuddled now, Ji Ling asks, "So what's this all about?" "Xuanda and I are brothers," replies Lu Bu, "and you're planning to attack him, so I've come to save him." Now really alarmed, Ji Ling cries, "Then you really do mean to kill me?" "No," replies Lu Bu, "I've always advocated resolving conflicts rather than fighting, and this is what I'll now do." Still alarmed, Ji Ling asks, "But how will you do this?" To which Lu Bu answers, "I have a plan, which is that we seek the will of heaven." Then he calls for food and drink and makes the two foes sit on either side of him. When after a few rounds of drinks the two are still eyeing each other suspiciously, Lu Bu tells them off. "Will you two stop this and listen to what I propose, please?" Then Lu Bu reveals his plan. Calling for his halberd, he says, "I'll have my halberd planted 150 paces away from the entrance to my tent. If with one arrow I can hit the smaller of the two blades, then you must call off your warfare. If I miss, then you're free to return to your camps and prepare for war. But if either one of you refuses to abide by this, then I and my men will join with the other side to fight you." They readily agree. Ji Ling is convinced that it is impossible for Lu Bu to hit the small blade, and then his role in Yuan Shu's plot can be carried out. However, Xuanda, ever the virtuous one, prays that he will hit the target and so end the risk of bloodshed, but he is very doubtful that the target can be hit. Imagine their astonishment, and, for Xuanda at least, delight, when Lu Bu does indeed hit the small blade. "So heaven decrees that you stop," he says. While Xuanda is mightily relieved, Ji Ling knows his master will never understand. But Lu Bu offers to write to Yuan Shu, explaining what has happened. When Ji Ling reports back to Yuan Shu, he is furious, but en route Ji Ling has thought of another ploy. He suggests that Yuan Shu offer his son to be wed to Lu Bu's daughter, thereby making it a family issue that Lu Bu must kill Xuanda because, as the old saying goes, family comes before strangers. However, this ploy doesn't work either. Lu Bu eventually sees through the trick and cancels the marriage. Lu Bu's relationship with Xuanda and with Zhang Fei, who truly hates Lu Bu, is put to the test again when Zhang Fei steals horses belonging to Lu Bu. Even when Xuanda offers to return them, Lu Bu is so furious he attacks Xuanda ensconced in the city of Xiaopei. Forced to retreat, Xuanda, with his two brothers, leaves at dead of night, heading to Cao Cao to offer to join him. Cao Cao is advised by many to use this opportunity to kill Xuanda. But as one of his advisors puts it, "You've promised to support the legitimate dynasty of the Han and free the people from fear. Because of this you're held in great respect, which is why men come to serve you. If you kill a hero like Xuanda because he is vulnerable at this moment, then you'll be notorious for such an unworthy act, and men of virtue will no longer seek you out. How, then, will you be able to restore the empire?" This response pleases Cao Cao, and so instead of killing Xuanda he offers him additional troops as a sign of friendship. Not long after, romance diverts Cao Cao. Cao Cao's determination to fight Lu Bu is seriously undermined by a love affair. Cao Cao is swept away with lust for the woman Lady Zhou, the widow of Zhang Ji. In fact, she is also the aunt of one of Cao Cao's commanders, Zhang Xiu. Positioning guards outside his tent, day after day, night after night, Cao Cao gives himself over to the delights of Lady Zhou, forgetting all else. This tangle of emotions and families leads to disaster for Cao Cao. Zhang Xiu is deeply offended by the love affair and, using Cao Cao's distraction by the beautiful woman, attacks Cao Cao's camp at dead of night. His personal guard, Dian Wei, once again comes to his rescue. With no weapon or armor, he seems an easy target for the attackers. But, grabbing a sword from one of the soldiers, he fights back, killing 20 men straight away. As enemy swords slash him, he fights on until his sword shatters. Then he simply picks up 2 of the bodies of the dead enemy and, using them as weapons, slays many more. In the end, it takes archers and an attack from behind with spears to bring him down. Collapsing, he gives a great cry and dies. Although wounded with an arrow in his shoulder, Cao Cao manages to escape the trap. Mounted upon his swift Fergana horse and escorted by his son Chaoong, he dashes for the river. The great horse, already wounded by an arrow, brings him to the riverbank. Hesitating for a moment, the great horse then plunges into the river and swims to the other side. As the horse scrambles up the bank, a final arrow brings the heroic beast down. Without a moment's thought, Chaoong gives his father his horse, and Cao Cao escapes. But before Chaoong can escape, he is slain by a hail of arrows. Cao Cao regroups his men and realizes that they are still superior to the forces of Zhang Xiu. His men are ready when he attacks again. Zhang Xiu is soon defeated and flees, seeking refuge with Liu Biao. Lu Bu, meanwhile, has broken off all negotiations with Yuan Shu and scotched his idea of a marriage alliance. Cao Cao is only too aware that dealing with Lu Bu means trusting someone who is not trustworthy. He uses Lu Bu's old advisor and friend Chen Deng to try and lure him into an alliance. The upshot of all this is that a furious Yuan Shu decides to attack Lu Bu. The size of the invading army both shocks and alarms Lu Bu. Can he survive? Read on and find out.